Yes, we are back with yet another exciting episode of Fly on the Wall. My name is Duke Mwesigwa, and today we also have again our man on the show, Aldrine Nsubuga Snr, Mr. Fly on the Wall. Aldrine, we are still talking about local sport. This week we have been awashed with the good news of Parliament finally passing the sports bill. We have been having that sports bill of 1964 that has been so outdated that couldn't even incorporate new ideas of football. Now the Parliament, the private member, Moses Magogo, and the Minister of Sports, Honorable Ogwang, and National Council of Sports, they managed to convince the Parliament and the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, led the Parliament and the Attorney General to pass the sports bill that is awaiting to be assented to by the President. What do you make of this?
It is a landmark achievement. It's historic. I want to thank Engineer Honorable Moses Magogo, because he's had this dream. He's had this wish, if he ever got a chance, to be the one to go to Parliament and bring up this bill and push for this new law. About 15 years ago, when I was still on radio, and I had this popular show, more than once I made this statement that the only reason I am going to live and aspire to be a honorable member of Parliament is to go in there and push for a sports law to improve sport.
That was your
And I remember I even said, if I ever going to campaign for a parliamentary seat, I won't be like everybody else who comes and tells you about how they're going to build hospitals, roads. You know these political statements that guys make. I'm going to create jobs for you. That was never going to be my manifesto. I was very clear, consistently, and I was serious about it. If I'm ever to do it, I am going to go out and tell people, vote me in the name of sports, because I'm going in there, and what I'm going to do is to push for 1, 2, 3. It was always about the bill, because some of us live and breathe sports. So I'm glad and really, really thankful to Engineer Magogo that he had the same passion, ambition. Fortunately, he went ahead of me. He beat me to it, because for him, he went in as a politician. He used his luck, his chance. He entered, but I love the fact that when he got in there, he kept his promise and said, I've got my chance. I could be the only voice in here. I could be the missing link in trying to persuade and lobby all these guys. We've always missed that guy, and he did it. So, thank you, Engineer Magogo. What does it mean for me? Well, the archaic 1964 National Sports Act is gone. Once this is assented by the President, we have a law, which means, finally, sports can fully be run as professional. The management, the administration, the athletes themselves who are involved, the commercial aspect of the game, the laws themselves, everything now has been aligned to modern sports management and administration, and that is a hope, that is a lot of gratefulness.
Why has this taken so long? We had MPs in Parliament who love sports.
Because many of them don't understand sport, they don't care about sport. Their love for sport is not like mine and a lot of others who are not in Parliament. Theirs is probably to support one team or to have a child who plays football or netball and the academy, and maybe they tune in once in a while on TV and watch, maybe they watch the SUPL. That's the level that they are at. They're not at the level of we who live and breathe sports, because for us it's a way of life. And exactly, our colleagues, our friends, our buddies, their way of life is in sport. That's where they're employed. That's where the children are looking to set careers. So for us, it's different. So the lack of such people in Parliament, even on the level of understanding the relationship between the world today, the professionalizing of sport, the commercial side of the game, the business side of the game, to understand the correlation between that and sport, not just as a recreation, as we look at it in Uganda, or we're looking at it. They're not there. So, no surprise then that that's how they thought. And also remember, these guys always thought that putting money in sport is throwing away money. None of them related it to youth. We all know 70% of the youth, what it means. These guys are 100% sports lovers. You're a politician, you want to get to their heads, you want their fame, So you want their support? Go into sport. They downplayed the role of sport. Now maybe they are beginning to understand that you want to make youth happy, you want them to be on your side, give them sport. Let everything else be, but give them sport. And now, fortunately, a few individuals like Magogo have gone in there. They're trying to make them understand that you want to galvanize a nation, go for the millions of youth that you have, give them sport, make them believe that careers are there, way of lives are there, employment is there, money is there, and you have a nation with you, and we shall move together. So for me, landmark, great news for sport, and I'm happy finally it has happened.
Let's talk something about this bill. When it was being beaten on the floor of Parliament, you saw a lot of heated debate and the issue of academies. The former president saying that academies should be licensed by the federations themselves, and the other region saying they should be licensed by the National Council of Sports as part of the government. What do you pick of this?
Obviously,
finally it was harmonized, but
it was harmonized, and I like the way the two positions were married together.
Yes.
Because I would understand where each side was coming from. Those who are not into football and have not been involved in academy business wouldn't understand that there is an implication if you let government alone take up the process of accrediting and eventually licensing without the endorsement of the federation. Because, like I just told you,
yes,
government on their own and their staff are not privy to the intricacies of sport, the commercial aspect, the professional aspect. They don't really link and understand that. You can only understand when you've been involved and you know that anybody involved in the academy invests resources.
Yes.
They spend time with these kids. They spend years with these kids, molding from the time they scout to molding to nurturing to building the players to the level of wanting to accredit them and upgrade them to senior teams, and then getting agents to get clubs for them in Africa and the world over. By the time you do that, you spent money, a lot of money. If you let government just come in and do what they do, they're not going to remember that the guys, the proprietors of these academies, need to recoup their money, and they're also in this for business, not just development, but business. The only way you understand that is if you work with the federations. So I'm glad that that point was understood. But then I'm also on the side of government, because we have a problem of homosexuality. We have a problem of kids getting lost.
Trafficking.
If you let that fully in the hands of we, the normal population,
the private investors,
government doesn't know our intentions. Government doesn't know what we do outside football. Government doesn't know what happens behind the cameras. You don't want to put kids of parents at risk. Kidnapping is real. Human trafficking is real. Murder is real. Homosexuality is real. Don't we know many kids that have been put away in houses, and these houses have been discovered to actually be doing this away from academies? So government is right to say, no, we are regulators. We are government. We are responsible for Ugandans. We must know. So that also the federations were missing that side. And it's real. So the fact that in the end they agreed to come and say, okay, the federations will recommend. We will look at the recommendation, do just a little bit of accrediting, and then we'll come up to licensing. I think it's fair, I think it's right, and now everybody can be happy. I think it was done in good spirit, and we can all say yes. Finally, both sides understand the issues related to academies.
Senior, as we wind up the issue of the sports bill, now we have a good law in place, but the implementation and the funding of it won't remain just a good on paper.
The funding, it's a national sports bill. It has to be funded by government. I'm thankful to the members of parliament and the entire parliament, especially the honorable speaker of parliament, who sat in there and backed this up. Without her support, without her backing, it could maybe even not have made the floor of parliament coming up for discussion.
Maybe even now we have a right sports minister.
Yeah, so Mr. Ogwang,
Yes.
he was fully behind it. I know, I talked to him as well, by the way,
Yes.
way before this.
Yes.
And you could see he has very good intentions, that he had promised me personally he's going to be in support, put his weight behind it, work with the federations, try also to add his weight in parliament to ensure that he doesn't just make the floor of parliament, but they lobby parliamentarians to put their voices, their contribution in the end passed into law. So I really thank the Honorable Minister Ogwang. I really thank the Speaker, because without them, and of course I said Magogo is also an MP, but they were able to lobby others, because you could see even from the discussion, we had voices from other guys. And I was happy and said, oh, so these guys now love to hear about this topic. So thank you very much. And this is really something. Now, in terms of support financing,
yes,
it tells me, when it comes to financing, it tells me we shall have the support as well. And what do you mean by support? Once you have the speaker in there, once you have the minister understanding and with you, once you have MPs like Magogo in there, it's going to be lobbying. But if they are able to get it to this level, now they are going to be able, it won't be smooth, but now to make them understand why 47 billion for sport is peanuts. Now, hopefully they can understand that triple that if you're going to try and help sport. You have a new sports law, you've got to triple the budget. That's the immediate implication. So is it going to be a battle to get that money to pass through? It's not enough, but it's a starting point. And I'm praying that Honorable Speaker, the Minister, all of us, let's now make everybody understand that by accepting to have that new law, you're accepting that we've been running sport on amateur level, which means very small monies. Now we are talking about big money, and big money necessary to advance and help this sport become practical.
All right, you've heard it from the big man, Aldrine Nsubuga Snr. Here from on the media estate and fire on the wall, we are very grateful to the Parliament of Uganda for passing this bill finally, and we can say that sports lovers, like we are on this program, we are very grateful, and we can move with our life back, that now we have a sports law that is going to protect our beautiful sport, and we think that this will be the starting point to develop our country. My name is Moses Magogo. Have a lovely time.